Hey y'all, welcome to my YouTube channel where we learn together, take action together, and reflect together. My name is Tamira, and thank you so much for being here. This is episode 4 of the Memphis-Shelby County Schools Superintendent Evaluation Process series. In this series, I break down the district's process for evaluating Dr. Feagins and offer insights into her performance so far. Today, we're going to talk about the evaluation competency of governance and board relations. And if you need to catch up, be sure to check out previous episodes in this series. On today's agenda, I am going to explain what governance and board relations means and why it's crucial to our school district's success. Then I'm going to guide you through the key criteria typically used to assess a superintendent's effectiveness in this area and how we can measure success. Finally, we'll examine some of Dr. Feagins' actions as superintendent and discuss how those efforts reflect her progression in governance and board relations. And so if you want to deepen your understanding of the evaluation competency, governance, and board relations, and the work Superintendent Feagins is doing in this area, then hop in the car and let's ride. Okay, before we get started, I have a few updates to share. The first thing is the board approved the official evaluation tool. They are going to use the same evaluation tool they used in previous superintendent evaluations, which outlines 5 key competencies, each assigned a specific weight. Community relations at 15%, staff relations at 15%, governance and board relations weighing 20%, business and finance weighing 20%, and student achievement weighing 30%. Indicators for each competency, along with quantitative measures aligned to the district's priorities, have also been approved. An informal evaluation is scheduled to happen by November 30th with one-on-one discussions between board members and the superintendent. The formal evaluation will take place by May 1st. Finally, I've organized and synthesized my detailed notes from the school board meetings, and they are available on my website, tamiramalone.com. And so if you're interested in getting comprehensive notes and insights from board meetings, including specifics about the evaluation tool and district priority metrics, be sure to sign up for my newsletter, which is linked in the description box below. So let's get into governance and board relations. For this competency, we're really looking at a 2-for-1. Governance and board relations, in my opinion, are distinct areas, but they fall under the same category or they fall under the same competency in this evaluation tool. And so I'll define them separately to show the unique focus of each. Governance refers to the framework, policies, and processes through which the Board of Education oversees the district's operations and makes decisions to ensure that the district meets its goals and serves the community effectively. Good governance involves setting strategic direction, establishing clear policies, monitoring progress, and holding the superintendent and district staff accountable. It requires a commitment to transparency, accountability, and adherence to ethical standards. Board relations is the quality and effectiveness of interactions between the superintendent and the board. Strong board relations involve open, respectful communication, timely updates on critical issues, and a collaborative approach to problem solving. It also includes the superintendent's ability to understand and respond to the board's needs, keep members informed on relevant matters, and provide expert advice that enables the board to make informed decisions. Effective board relations foster trust, ensure alignment on district goals, and help create a unified approach to governance. According to the evaluation tool, a superintendent with strong governance and board relations keeps all board members informed on issues, needs, and the school system's operation based on mutually agreed upon protocols. A superintendent strong in this area keeps board informed of employment, promotion, and dismissal of personnel. They offer professional advice to the board on items requiring board action with appropriate recommendations based on thorough study and analysis. A superintendent strong in this area makes meeting materials that are comprehensive and include adequate background information and previous action, and the recommendations are well thought out. And finally, a superintendent that is strong in this area ensures district staff are responsive and understand board members' requests. So considering these specific criteria, how can we measure Dr. Feagins' success in governance and board relations? Let's start with criteria number 1, which is keeping all board members informed on issues, needs, and school operations based on mutually agreed upon protocols. And so to assess Dr. Feagins' effectiveness in keeping board members informed, board members' perceptions could be measured through regular surveys or interviews to get an understanding of their views on Dr. Feagins' communication effectiveness and her adherence to agreed upon protocols. Another method is to review communications such as emails, memos, and reports sent to the board to check if they are timely, comprehensive, and follow established standards. And then finally, tracking the frequency of formal updates can also provide insight into whether Dr. Feagins regularly briefs the board on critical issues, ensuring alignment with board expectations. Criteria number 2, keeping the board informed of employment, promotion, and dismissal of personnel. For this criteria, regular records audits could verify that Dr. Feagins provides timely updates on employment changes, such as promotions, dismissals, or new hires. Additionally, assessing the reports themselves ensures that they contain all necessary information according to board protocols, giving the board a complete view of personnel matters. And then feedback tools like surveys could also be used to measure board members' satisfaction with the transparency and timeliness of these updates. Criteria number 3, offering professional advice to the board on items requiring board action with recommendations based on thorough study and analysis. To evaluate Dr. Feagins' recommendations, the quality of her advice can be measured by examining the supporting data, research, and analysis included in her board meeting materials, collecting feedback directly from board members on whether they find her advice helpful and well supported could provide further insights, and then tracking the outcomes of her recommendations is another measure, assessing whether they lead to effective decision making and positive results for the district. Criteria number 4, meeting materials are comprehensive and include adequate background information and previous actions. To measure the thoroughness of meeting materials, board members could review them for completeness, background information, and alignment with prior actions. Tracking whether materials are consistently provided in advance of meetings allows board members adequate time to prepare. For an added level of evaluation, periodic audits of the meeting materials by an external consultant or an internal team could help ensure that the meeting materials meet standards for thoroughness and relevance. And then the last criteria, number 5, ensuring district staff are responsive and understand board members' requests. For this criteria, a tracking system for board member requests would be effective, noting both response times and the completeness of responses. Surveys or observations of district staff could evaluate their understanding and responsiveness to board requests. Finally, gathering feedback from board members on their satisfaction with staff interactions could be insightful, including an assessment of Dr. Feagins' role in ensuring effective and timely staff responses. So those are the descriptors that will be used to measure Dr. Feagins' effectiveness in this area. As a non-board member, I don't have direct insight into Superintendent Feagins' performance in this area. However, I can share my thoughts based on publicly available information from board meetings, local media, and of course, social media. And so I would say that Dr. Feagins demonstrates a mix of strengths and areas for growth. She appears to be committed to keeping board members informed about district issues, needs, and operations. I don't know if her efforts are aligned with the board protocols because I don't know what the board protocols are. I do know that at one point, one-on-one meetings between the superintendent and individual board members were being held, which offered direct channels for communication. However, Chair Coleman suggested ending these one-on-one meetings, saying that there needs to be more transparency and she wants to ensure that all board members receive consistent information. And so what I gathered from that is during these one-on-one sessions, different information is being shared and received, which is causing confusion. And I'm a witness to that as I watch the board meetings. Sometimes, especially in the past, caused confusion amongst the board. And so I do understand why Chair Coleman has this concern. I'm not sure if the one-on-one meetings have actually stopped happening, but I can say that Dr. Feagins acknowledges board member concerns in meetings, in the public meetings, and regularly commits to providing information promptly. At the same time, though, board members have repeatedly called for earlier, more consistent communication, noting that sometimes they feel out of the loop during critical decisions. And I have observed this during early board meetings prior to August, after or before the new board was elected. And I've also observed this even in the last couple of meetings where board members were asking for more consistent communication. For instance, current and former commissioners voiced concerns about transparency in major decisions like layoffs and staff restructuring. And as a result, the board passed a resolution, I believe back in August or July, June, during the summer, to pause layoffs until a clear plan was shared. And this action on behalf of the board reflects ongoing concerns, again, about communication, transparency, and collaboration. Dr. Feagins' approach to data transparency has been notable. During board meetings, she provides thorough updates on district data and priorities. When board members ask for additional details, she responds directly or brings in her team to ensure that accurate information is shared. She's also implemented a Board 360 dashboard and a Project Build dashboard, which allows the public and the board to follow any maintenance projects that are happening in our buildings. And so implementing these dashboards is an attempt to increase access to relevant data at district and school levels, which I would say is a step toward improving transparency. Dr. Feagins has communicated that she is available through calls, texts, emails, and meetings with board members. She stated her commitment to providing monthly data metrics tailored to the board's needs. Her dedication to data-driven updates has been valued and appreciated, with one board member even saying, "Wow, she's on fire," in acknowledgement of her detailed presentations. Dr. Feagins shows strength in ensuring that meeting materials are comprehensive and that her recommendations are well thought out. She's committed to ensuring district staff are responsive, and she understands board members' requests. There are opportunities for growth in keeping all board members informed on issues, needs, and matters of employment, promotion, and dismissal of personnel. I think she demonstrates flexibility in governance and remains open to board feedback on policies, which shows a willingness to adjust her approach. But I do look forward to her continuing to address communication gaps and acknowledging and correcting missteps. This will help build trust and demonstrate her commitment to governance integrity. And so we'll see what kind of feedback the board provides to Dr. Feagins during the upcoming informal evaluations, which are scheduled to take place by November 30th. It's unclear whether the public will have access to this feedback, as the evaluations are, I believe, happening in private one-on-one settings between the superintendent and board members, and then they'll have up to an hour allocated for sharing feedback. But if this feedback remains private, we may not gain direct insight into the board's perspective on Dr. Feagins' performance. And so I do hope that in the upcoming board meetings after November 30th, the board and Superintendent Feagins share what came from those informal one-on-one evaluation meetings. And I do look forward to seeing specific measures or metrics that emerge from these conversations. It would be particularly valuable to understand the board's expectations and protocols for being informed and maintaining effective communication, as well as any goals that they set to align with these expectations. And that's all I have for now, y'all. I would love to hear your thoughts on how you feel about Dr. Feagins' performance in governance and board relations. Be sure to check out these two videos where I discuss the evaluation competency, staff relations, and also community relations. Thank y'all so much for riding with me today. Remember to keep learning, keep taking action, and keep reflecting. I love y'all. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye.